How's it going, Critter Family? I hope you all are doing well. Ellie's making noise in the bathroom, so we're gonna ignore that. But today we're looking at a positive reinforcement trainer. This is Colleen McNally. She has 106 subscribers at this point, and I think she deserves so many more because from just the first couple of minutes I've seen of her working with this dog, a German short-haired pointer, with no corrective collars, no choke chain, no star mark, no prong collar, no e-collar, nothing. I believe she uses a clicker and food reward. So we're going to be watching this. I don't know if we're going to be watching the whole thing through, but we'll just, sit back and enjoy. So if you're ready for that, then let's get started. So she starts off with a little play session. So good little play session to start with. Good. So her thank you is, I guess, a cue for this dog to drop it or leave it. I guess drop it, but either way, good little play session to start the day off with before you get into training. So she has a little mat, using the dog's regular food. Okay, so she's not using a clicker, she's using a preconditioned marker word. She's rewarding the dog for putting her front feet on this placemat or on this particular spot. So she's teaching the dog to circle around, pivot around using their back legs while keeping their front feet on this little pad. Now notice how she changed how she rewards. She's rewarding closer to the ground so the dog doesn't maybe move around so much. That's awesome. She tossed the treat away and the dog goes right back. This is what positive reinforcement or any reinforcement does, is you reinforce a behavior. Because we have the dog, although we have whites of the eyes, whale eyes, the dog does not seem very stressed at all. They're just, very excitable and giving a lot of eye contact, I'm sure, to their human. So notice how she's giving the treats a little bit lower to the ground so the dog probably keeps their feet there and they're not moving around as much. She's changing her behavior along with the dog. So the dog found an extra little thing. She doesn't correct the dog for it. The dog goes right back to their spot. That's what reinforcement does. And when you do it positively, the dog does it on their own because there's no fear of correction. A dog, who was using a trainer who was using correction with this dog, the dog wouldn't even think about leaving. They wouldn't have a reason to leave, to go get a piece of food because there wouldn't be food around. And if there was any thought of leaving, then they would probably get corrected. There's a piece of food that had dropped, or maybe she tossed it away and I missed it, but the dog saw it, the dog went for it, and the dog came right back. She didn't correct it at all. She didn't have to correct her dog at all. Amazing. So the dog is... Okay, perfect. So the dog is, she's trying a different behavior. The dog is getting a little confused. The dog's trying different behaviors. Let's go back. The dog tries sitting. They try jumping. They try moving around. So she says search. She tries to restart whatever behavior she's asking for. So she says, okay, we're going to do this. And then I imagine she's going to change the curriculum, make it easier for the dog. She might speed up her reinforcement, her rate of reinforcement, which means how quickly you give the dog a reward. And again, it looks like she's just using her dog's regular kibble. Gives her a little break. This is awesome. I love it. I mean, I could watch this stuff all day long. So she's loading up her hand. Restarts. Now she's going to teach a new behavior. Looks like she's trying to teach the dog to spin into heel, and she's working on the right hand side. Hi, baby girl. So now she's trying to see if the dog will spin into heel. So the dog is trying different behaviors. She still rewards the dog for giving her a known behavior. She's not correcting the dog. She's changing her behavior. She's changing how she's teaching the dog to give the dog the easiest way to give the right answer. Make the right answer easy. So she's going to restart. She's going to go back to a behavior the dog finds easier. So she's going to really reinforce staying in this position. Might be a little easier when she backs up into the dog, because the dog will naturally want to move away from that but stay in position versus pivoting their little butt towards you. Awesome. Even though her dog kind of moved away, she's still in position. She's still rewarding because her dog pivoted her butt, moved her butt away. She's pivoting on her 2 front feet, and she is a sweet little darling. So some other lights finally warmed up a bit.
You stand up. You stand up.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a cool, interesting way to teach your dog to stand up. Instead of moving them forward, moving the treat forward, which might cause them to step forward, she moved it into their belly so that way they kind of back up and then stand back up again. Maybe that's how she normally gets them to stand up. That's how I teach a dog to lay down, is putting a treat kind of towards their belly so that their back end slides down. But I think that's an interesting way to just get her to stand up versus sitting.
Yes. Yes.
So she's moving backwards. She's not worried about perfect positioning. And so when she wants to reset, she just tosses the treat away and she says search. Trying something else. Reloading the hand. Okay, so perfect. So she's starting, again, trying the spin into heel. Here's little Miss Doggie. She's trying to spin into heel, and she's working with her environment. She's not starting outside. She's starting inside next to a wall, just like how I teach Adonis, or I taught Adonis heel. And I'll leave a video in the description below showing, how I taught heel with him on the right-hand side, walking against a wall.
Should we fix our target? Scrap.
Okay, so she's trying to re-teach a new target, such as the hand. So instead of, however she may have been doing it before, maybe she had it this way, so the dog would come here. Now she has it like this. So now she's teaching and shaping a new behavior for the dog to follow the hand to touch. So she's not necessarily luring, she's just showing the target. Or she's luring with the target, not with the treat. Now I'm playing with Ellie, in case anybody is wondering. So she's reconditioning and strengthening the target. Which is where she wants her dog's nose to touch. So it's like a way you can lure the dog without having the treat right in front of them. And she's not worried about mistakes. I love that. She's just working through them. This is how any training should be. Good. So it's not perfect, but she doesn't care. I mean, I would reward for this.
Yes.
So she's teaching her dog to apparently stay in that position unless she, in that sit-stay. So she may not be teaching her heel. When she says break, then that's when the dog moves towards her. Or maybe she's trying to teach the dog to walk heel with her, but the dog thought that she was in a sit-stay. So she gave her that break, so she goes back into position. Okay, so it looks like from this that she is rewarding the dog for sitting and staying in that position, because if I wasn't sure the first time, she does it now. The dog certainly understands. So if I can understand from her not even being verbal, then the dog can certainly understand.
Break. Yes. Good. Yes.
And this is a very high energy dog.
Break. Yes.
You don't need to use any kind of a shock collar like they do in Standing Stone Kennels or anybody else. You don't need to use any kind of corrective collar to teach your dog. You can just use their regular kibble or a tug toy or a flirt pole maybe. I'm sorry, maybe a flirt pole. This is Allie's favorite toy. But you can use, whatever the dog finds most rewarding. Yeah, she finds a string rewarding. So she's playing with this cute string. She's cute playing with the string. She restarts.
Oh, hi.
The dog offers a known behavior. She still rewards that and reinforces it. She strengthens that behavior. Instead of correcting the dog or ignoring that, she says, hey, I'm going to take this as a moment to reward. So for her, instead of saying heel, break. Hi, Ellie. You want to say hi? Probably going to squeak. Hey, yo. For her, on the right-hand side, instead of saying heel, it sounds like she says break. And that means for the dog to follow her. Excellent. I mean, this is awesome. I love watching this. This is just... It's very refreshing.
Very good. Yes.
And I think she said Sparrow because I think the dog's name is Sparrow.
Yes. Good girl. Very nice.
Restarts, loads her hand again. This is a dog that's excited to learn and work. You can get the same looking behavior from a dog who's wearing an e-collar or a prong collar. But that's just because they're a dog. They've been conditioned to work with humans that, oh God, running into the wall. But, yeah, she's working on the left-hand side. But they've just been conditioned to work with humans for so long that it's easy to, modify any kind of behavior using any kind of method. So it sounds like her... I think that hand there meant sit, but or stand up maybe, stand up into a sit. Sounds like her heel word might be break. Maybe she's retraining the heel word, or maybe not. Maybe that's just what she uses. And then they take a little play break. Get excited, have a little play break.
Good girl. Good girl. Oh, good dogs. Oh, just good dogs. Yes. Oh, just good dogs. Thank you.
Hi, baby girl. Thinking about something else they can work on. Look at that. The dog offers that behavior. Now, I think if she had perhaps noticed that, she could have rewarded. Good. So instead of walking away and the dog jumping, she wants to go back, retry, and reward the dog for being calm and not jumping. Targeting. Targets the dog and rewards the dog for having their head in a certain position. And this is just awesome. Like, look at that attention. You can tell they have a really good relationship together. Whether this is her dog or a dog that she's just training, I mean, it definitely looks like this is her dog.
Yes. Good girl. Good girl. Break. Almost. Search.
Okay, so she's going to try something else and see how she fixes this behavior. And not so much of a fix of just, you know, trying again. So she made sure to have her hand right there right away. Keep the dog in position. So she's working both sides, left and right side. Good. So she worked on good leave it. Look at those ears. So she has taught that behavior without the dog without even having to use the verbal cue, which is what I tried, you know, to teach a lot of people, is that when we're starting a behavior, we don't want to necessarily have to rely on the verbal cue. Everybody says, you know, when I start a behavior, I like to teach, you know, just like that. Just have your hand there and the dog leaves it and they get a reward. They get a mark with a yes or a click and then a reward. And keep doing that until you can drop it and toss it and all this other good stuff. You know, until it's raining treats and you can sprinkle it everywhere. And then you can also add the verbal, you know, before you get to the point where you're just like dropping treats everywhere. Where, you know, if I have a treat here and if they try to go for it, I can use it as a leave it. But I'd rather, I don't have a problem teaching a verbal cue, and we do teach it, but I want it to be just as a known behavior, just like not jumping for food. You know, she goes back and reteaches, and you don't have to tell the dog off or no or anything like that. You know, you just teach it as as conditioned that you don't go for food on the ground. You don't go for human food on the ground. You don't go for, you know, go sniff other dogs unless you get a specific word. Like for this dog, it might be break, it might be something else. Or she might not be able to go for food, period, you know, unless given the cue, maybe search or whatever. So because people want to rely on their mouth too much and our verbals, because we're very verbal creatures as humans, that's how we communicate. I try to teach, you know, people don't rely so much on that. You know, use your body language and work on really conditioning the behavior itself. And so you don't have to rely on the verbal. Of course, I do teach the verbal as well, but just like she showed it there, she didn't even have to say leave it. You know, the dog is more conditioned. Use the verbal as a word that releases the dog to be able to go do certain behavior versus keeping them from doing a certain behavior, because you're not teaching them what to do, you're teaching them what not to do. So she's using her target hand as a good lure. Restarts her. Good. So she's able to do this without her little mat over here, the target mat. The dog got confused. So she tries a very strengthened behavior, a behavior she knows very well, and she always gets rewarded for. So the dog made a little oopsie, you know, made a little mistake, if you will, but doesn't get in trouble. In fact, gets rewarded for a different behavior, and then we just go back and reset. And you practice this in an environment that has little to no distractions, and then you work your way up through those distractions. Everybody says, you know, oh, you're teaching your dog heel inside. Well, yeah, no, duh, dummy. I mean, of course I'm teaching him inside. I'm not going to start heel outside in a public park with, you know, hi, baby girl, with a school bus full of children going by and a bunch of squirrels, you know, in a parade. You know, I'm not going to do, you don't start there. You start inside. These people who think that, ow. Ellie wandered up in the window. So, the people who think that you just start this outside and your dog just has to listen because you say so. They have to rely on prong collars and shock collars and star mark and choke chain and all this other correction and nonsense and jerking and popping and being a jerk and just these aggressive and in some cases, a lot of cases, abusive techniques because they don't know how to train, period. They don't understand a dog, period. They don't know how to start with no distractions. They think that they're so entitled because they have opposable thumbs that they can just start in the middle of a what is it? Fair or a flea market, and their dog just has to listen. They don't prepare them at all. However, they were prepared as a kid. They were prepared as in any new environment. But no, the dog just can't do it. So she says her dog wants to try this behavior, so she's going to really practice this behavior to give her dog the easy win. Oh, she's so cute. Beautiful markings.
Yes, good girl. Okay, teach you how to walk backwards like this. Yeah.
So she's backing up. Might be a little easier if the dog were maybe standing, maybe easier for the dog, but that might be, middle might mean that the dog is just sitting. And maybe she's just starting this way. I mean, I don't know if it doesn't seem like she really has worked a lot on backwards movement, but she's still getting it. There you go.
You just
Scooting.
Yes.
And training can be as short as this, 15 minutes, as long as 15 minutes, or it could be, so she closes her legs to make sure the dog goes in the right position. But training can be as short as 2 minutes, 30 seconds, or as long as 15 to 20 minutes. Just make sure that you keep it fun and short and consistent, and you leave your dog wanting more.
Yes.
Dog was trying to go in the middle again, so she just changes her body. She closes her legs a little tighter, so she can't go in the middle. She waits for her to offer a different behavior. And now she gets, like I taught Adonis using a wall. When I would point my finger to my side and I would say, side, he would go around behind me and go to my side, my left side. And then I could say heel from there on, or whatever word you wanted to. I barely ever used heel because he never really needed it. I never really asked for it. It wasn't one of my priorities.
Yes.
She gives her another reward of an easy middle.
Yay! There you go. You're getting all toothy.
She's getting a little excited. Aww. But that was a really, really good video. I love it. I think that was this girl really needs a lot more subscribers. This is Colleen McNally. She definitely needs a lot more subscribers. This is amazing work. I need to get Ellie off of Pinky. Can you not go on there? Thank you. All right, sorry, I had to get Ellie off of climbing on my gecko's little house. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this one. This was an amazing video. I think it's awesome. It shows exactly what positive reinforcement can do. Good work to Miss Colleen here and her puppers Sparrow. Wish you all the best. You're gonna go right after Pinky again, aren't you? Okay. I need to go keep Ellie from getting on Pinky, so I'll leave you there with that. But until next time, baby girl, get off of it. Not for you. Not for you. No. No. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Hope you all are doing well. Go say hello to your little critters. Give them some kind of loving for me. Say hi to do for me. And until next time, practice peace, patience, and positivity.